you know what the targets are here.
You didn't do this, like the app stopped.
But we knew that the results from it and the rewards would be massive.
Yeah, we did it all again with Android.
We went on to a beta test. It lasted on the beta test for about a day, I think, before they were like, let's just ship it. Let's just put it live.
That's pretty phenomenal then, really. Like, on time, in budget.
And deliver you a product that's 100% crash free.
Kind of workshopping that stuff out so that then we can start to grow that team.
And execute they did.
Yeah.
And execute they did, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Here's a question: How many mobile apps you actually got on your phone?
Installed?
Yeah. How many do you reckon?
I'm probably sure.
I only think about Next, so I
I have one. Do you just have Next in the middle and nothing else on your screen? Yeah.
Well, yes, along with obviously the other total platforms that we
I've
run.
got recent Victoria's Secrets.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're a bit more diverse than me, I'd say.
So talk to me a bit about your background and what part of the business you work in then. So you're both in technology, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
I gather you've both got slightly different roles. So start with you, David. What's your role?
So my role now, so I don't predominantly look after apps totally now. I've moved on to, I'm a domain architect for e-commerce online. So I cover the website, a lot of back-end services and the apps. So I've always been with the app team though. So I started with the app team as a developer and I've progressed through different roles through the company. You move from that developer all the way up to domain architect now. So my heart always lies with the app team though. So I'm always looking out for the app team. I still sit with the app team every day.
Nice.
I think they want me to move to other areas, but but now it's a bit more broad for me. I'm looking after more areas of e-commerce, which is interesting and challenging, but a lot of it, because of the size of the apps now, it always falls back to the apps anyway as well. So the apps is a consumer of a lot of the services and products that we build. That's pretty much what I look after now.
We'll get onto that in a minute, like the size of the apps and kind of like the impact they have, because I think probably the perception is still like website first, but I think that's changing slightly, right? And Phil, what about yourself? Like, what's your role?
Yeah, so I'm a product group manager, so I look over the mobile apps product group. So I took on that role, I think, early last year. Been doing it, so what's that, 18 months? I can't do the maths. Before that, I worked up in Doncaster as a product development manager for the My Account and Credit team. So kind of moved to mobile apps, working with Dave, and then immediate priority was, how do we move David on? And
So
all right. So that's why he's not on apps so much. Yeah? Did that line up?
He used me through for that one. So I was a solution architect dedicated for mobile apps up until the point where we rebuilt all of the new apps, and then he offloaded me to be a domain architect to get me out of the way. He worked that one quite nicely.
God, yeah. See that now, right? It's all out in the open now. Like, it's all recorded. So
I hadn't actually thought about that until he just said that.
Yeah.
The main protagonist between.
If you want to leave, like, you're more than welcome.
I may have to.
So, in terms of that, then, I guess you two have worked together quite a lot since just in this last 18 months or so, or even before that, or?
Yeah, our paths crossed before that on a couple of other projects, but we weren't kind of working day in, day out together as we kind of have over the last 18 months. Like I say, we've had a couple of really huge projects for mobile apps, which have been amazing and exciting. And, David was kind of critical part of that, and, his direction and kind of architectural experience and knowledge of the app is just, we needed him, frankly, in light of what I just said a moment ago.
There you go. There you go.
This is my apology. Sorry.
No, you came in at a very interesting time, didn't you? I mean, it was, but we've got the team is in a really, really nice state now, but the apps needed to be rewritten. We'd exceeded the lifespan of the framework we were working on. So we got two apps. We'd got an Android and an iOS app that were trading, were very successful, but they'd come to the end of their life. The framework that they were built upon was being retired, and we needed to make a decision to move forward. We knew there was a lot of benefits in going to a native approach, so writing the apps in native languages dedicated to each platform. So what we were using was a cross-platform tool. So we had one tool where we wrote it in one language, deployed it on both platforms, which is brilliant, and efficiency-wise, it's great for that. But there's also challenges and trade-offs when you do it. So we were faced with that framework ending, so we needed to do something different. We evaluated it, a native approach, albeit we needed to retrain the team in different languages, different technologies. Massively daunting idea, but we knew that the results from it and the rewards would be massive. But then it was convincing the business that it was equally as rewarding, and they would see the results from it. Bit of a challenge to get to that point. They agreed to it, and we rewrote them. Phil came in pretty much exactly when we were doing that, and just at the point when we were deciding to rewrite them, and sort of gelled us all together and guided us through, didn't you? So it all came together quite nicely, and now we're sitting here with both apps rewritten natively, and they're looking pretty awesome.
And these both apps are iOS and Android, right?
Yeah.
These are the
Android ones.
These are the next ones, because obviously, as you said at the start, we've got all
they're total platform.
Total
so again,
platform.
this is native apps rewritten, not just for Next. Next is just a client of that platform.
Interesting.
So they're a total platform app. They can be reskinned in whatever flavor you want to put on them. So any client that comes to us and wants to use them, we can rebadge those apps. They're completely white labeled. So you can apply any different styling to it. You can retheme it and supply any other brand's products on there. So we've already got Reese on there and Victoria's Secrets on iOS. They're looking at doing the same on Android. Any of our total platform brands that we've got are looking to come on board on that platform as well.
I suppose that's one of the considerations, isn't it? So when we've mentioned two different platforms, two different target dates, really. Our hand was forced in terms of moving on from Xamarin, which is a multi-platform tool, as David said. But so we're working to April this year for our iOS, before the kind of support expired, I suppose, for our apps. That means we wouldn't be able to make a release, or if there was a bug, heaven forbid, we wouldn't be able to fix that beyond April.
So quite fundamental then to change this, quite a tight deadline. Like
It was an incredibly tight deadline.
if you didn't do this, and there was a bug or anything, the app stops. Yeah,
and the deadline couldn't move. It was literally fixed at April.
And
so,
is that because does that come from Apple? And
yes,
stuff?
that was from Apple. So that was are not able to submit your app to the store after this date unless you use a later build. So we had to upgrade to that technology, we had to retrain and rebuild that app between June of last year and April of this year. So it had to be available on the store by April.
It was 3rd of June we started the iOS project. We had a workshop over the road. We got in some market expertise because, frankly, as David said, we weren't native developers. We didn't have the skill set, so we had to bring that in. We didn't want to replace the team. The guys are amazing. They're very skillful, very talented. We have full confidence in them, but with such a deadline, you can't, I guess, accept the risk that, we're just going to become amazing. So we did have some market help and some SMEs in, help our guys get up to speed. And then I guess start to lay out the theming considerations that David mentioned and set up the scaffolding, I suppose, for the new iOS app. And I suppose we spent about a month, 6 weeks, kind of workshopping that stuff out so that then we can start to grow that team and work towards a delivery plan. And I think we launched in April this year, so under a year, amazing effort. And I think we hit 100% distribution for our new app in May early this year. So, and the figures look great. So it's a performant app. It's performing really well. Our conversion rate's up, etc. And we did it all again with Android. So our Android target date was September, just passed. So we started again. We took the iOS project was a success in terms of we delivered what we needed to within budget and pretty much on time. We were very happy with how it went. So why change something that works well? Let's re-employ what we did there. We set up a similar workshop, got some kind of help from the market in through SMEs, trained up the other half of our team effectively, and then we've just literally launched our Android native app to the market.
That's pretty phenomenal then, really, to do all of that in such a, and I think to do it on time, in budget, crash free.
Yeah, it was 100% crash free on iOS when it launched, which I've never seen anything go out like that. I mean, it was a surprise. I mean, it's always planned, and you dream of things like this. But yeah, it went out 100%. I mean, Android, I think, has gone out, and that's still 99.7, I believe, or 99.8.
Where's that 3%?
Yeah,
well, 0.3. Sorry.
Yeah,
we did that deliberately to make the iOS team look better. We've got to keep them on their toes a little bit. Yeah, we put some deliberate crashes in there for that.
I was always concerned that David's heart kind of lay in iOS, as opposed to Android. But
yeah, I have always been traditionally an Apple developer, so I am an iOS developer. But I do play nicely with the Android team. And they did buy me a T-shirt. So when I came on board, so I was on the iOS team, so I had to focus on the iOS one to get that over the line. The Android one started at the same time, so running them two side by sides, again, that's the other added challenge. They didn't run back to back; they were running side by side. So as the iOS one was coming to a close, or not to a close, but the close of the first delivery, the Android one started. So then the question for me was, you're still pushing forward and writing stuff on the iOS side of it, but now Android need you to help with the architecture. So I've got to do the architecture piece for Android at the same time as doing the iOS one. So my heart was with the iOS one a little bit, because that's where I've always been, and that's what I started with. But I equally like Android. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is this thing going on, and they did buy me a T-shirt when I started writing some Android code again. Unfortunately, Phil got it in the wrong size, so I've not been able to wear it. Clearly thought I was a lot bigger than I am.
I have a lot of kind of admiration for our, for our product group actually. So if you think back to June when we workshopped iOS last year, we had, half of the product group effectively, earmarked for iOS native development and delivering that mobile app, that platform. The other half of the team, saw the kind of, I guess, the exciting new tech that the product group was getting to grips with, working on this great stuff. They'd been working on kind of older tech, which, was nothing wrong with it. It's been an amazing servant for us. We benefited from it, but it wasn't quite as glamorous, I suppose.
Everyone likes the shiny new thing.
Yeah. Exactly, right? So then the other half of our product group is maintaining our current production app, which is maintained in Xamarin, keeping an eye on that while the other part of the product group's looking at this exciting new tech. So what I'm trying to say, I suppose, is that, they had amazing patience and, I suppose, what's the word? Like confidence in us that we would get round to kicking off the Android project, and they would be in a similar boat come the new year, and they would have.
They had to believe me, didn't they? I kept telling them. So they sat there, and obviously, it's, like you say, it's really difficult. They're looking at all these other guys getting all the kudos because this is all new and shiny, and they're sitting there with all the old stuff, keeping the wheels running, and the engine's just about ticking over, and they're thinking that's bad. But I said the Android one will be the one that's going to set it alight. So the iOS one, you're pretty much going to do like for like. It's going to be better, but it isn't going to
just build it in native. Yeah,
rebuilding the iOS one in native was always going to be better, but it was never going to stand out as something very different. The Android one, rewriting that in native, because of the framework we were using and the overhead of it, rewriting it natively was going to be visually apparent that this thing was a different thing altogether.
So to like an untrained eye, like if I went on the Android, I'd see a notable
comparing
difference.
The iOS side by side. You'd probably say, well, this one looks a little bit more polished. You wouldn't notice it, but Android, you would notice it straight away. The load time just to the home screen is, I think it's 10 seconds on the old framework. On the new one, it's loading in a half second. So you can visually see 9.5 seconds quicker to get to where you want to be shopping. So I said to the guys, be patient. You guys are going to win because the business are going to love this. They are going to love the speed of this thing. And we told them, but they didn't believe as how quick it would be and how performant it would be, did they? They knew it was going to be all right, and they had confidence in us that it was going to be good. But then when they got it, the problem was we were supposed to go to a beta test, weren't we? So it was like, we're going to beta test the app, so we'll put it out onto beta. It went on to a beta test. It lasted on the beta test for about a day, I think, before they were like, let's just ship it. Let's just put it live. We're like, it's on a beta test at the minute. They wanted it live instantly. It went on to beta. People tried it, and they were so impressed with it, they just wanted to ship it. Yeah, because the AOV or the average order value, the conversion rate on that app is a lot higher. It's a good percentage point, 1.5% up on nearly 2% up on the old app. So customers are spending more. This app's worth money because of the speed. The international markets have massive opportunities with Android as well that we've never tapped because the app wasn't quite as performant as we needed. Now this is a serious bit of kit. So now, like I said to the developers, wait your time, bide your time, and it'll all come good. And now they're all sitting there going, "Oh, we've got this lovely app that we're beating the iOS guys." And so now it's quite a healthy competition between the two. We all sit as one team, we all get on as one team, but there's two sides to it where one's Android, one's
a healthy
iOS.
rivalry. I think.
Yeah.
And and again, going back to the start of the year, we had effectively 3 products, didn't we? Because we had our native project, which was in flight, but then having an iOS kind of an Android app out there in the wild that we had to sit behind and support. It was a very, and then kicking off the new native Android project. It was a very, very busy time. But as David mentioned, very fast, very performant, very stable. Looks amazing, like the new Android app. But I guess to some degree you might expect that it doesn't carry as many features as what our previous kind of offering did. But no, it's gone far beyond our expectations in terms of performance. And I guess now the focus is on how quickly can we get back. When I talk about parity, I'm talking about the amount of features we have on the app itself.
So what do you mean by that in terms of features? What kind of features? Is it missing then?
Well, the Android app's missing things like, I think at the minute it's missing flowers. I'm not sure whether it's got the sofa. I think it's got the sofa builder in there now, hasn't it? But there's various sort of things like store locators, barcode scanners. There's different product groups that we haven't got on there, like bundle lighting and things like that are not in there yet. But this is to look at that the Android app without all these features is still taking more money than the Android app with all the features. So if you take the old Android app that's got everything, and the new Android app that's got half, the new Android app with half as many features is taking more than the old one. So if we get all those features on there, like Phil says, this thing could be incredibly good.
And we want to start, introducing kind of our TP clients to it as well, and saying, look, this is a fantastic product, get involved,
But development speed on new platforms quicker as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So,
a
combination of things really. So because I think there's a real appetite from the team developers to use the new tech, work natively, and also I guess we as we are in an AI age, we're seeing benefits on that front as well. But we're seeing our productivity is really, really increasing. So we're delivering more quicker, more value for the business for Next. At a quicker rate than we were previously, which is, it's amazing. It's just a very exciting time to be a part of, to be honest. But it's lovely.
And what's this? What is this? What's the long-term advantage of this? Because you've both said the word native a lot, which is great, but what is the benefit of
the benefit? You've got no third party in the way. So essentially you're writing...
It's
more control. More control of our own destiny, I suppose. That's
absolutely. You don't fall foul of what we did before. So if we're using a cross-platform tool, that will generally come through a vendor. So we're going to be buying that or licensing it through somebody like Microsoft or Google or somebody that's making a framework that works across both platforms. If we write it straight into the IDEs that are vended to us straight from the manufacturers. So we're using an IDE created by Apple, so we're writing code directly for iOS in their native language, which is Swift. And then we're writing Kotlin, which is the native language for Android now from Google. If we're writing that, we're also future-proofing as well. So if we get like we had, which is where a vendor retires that framework, we're left holding it. We can't do anything. We are then put in that position, in a very uncomfortable position, where you're facing the prospect you have no apps. So this app that, like we say, 47% of the business, e-com business is going through it, you're looking at the fact it's not on the App Store anymore. So all of a sudden your customers don't have it. Well, that's a huge revenue stream to be losing. So you can't be risking losing that. So creating these apps and writing them as close to the native platform, as close to the actual device as you can, then you're not going to fall foul of that. So we should now be future-proofed well into the future as these platforms.
And I guess as Android and iOS develop and they bring new things out, you can react to that quicker
we get them straight away now.
Yeah.
Previously, we'd always have the situation where they'd be bringing something new. We had to wait for the third-party vendor to adopt that newness into their platforms before you could use it. Now we get that on day one. So when Apple announced in June at the developer conference that they're going to be bringing new features to iOS 27 next year, say, or as they did with 26 this year, previously with the liquid glass stuff this year on iOS 26, we would have had to wait until September at the earliest to get access to that through the Xamarin framework we were on.
And then you'd have to develop it.
Absolutely. Then we've got to rush and jump to develop to that as quickly as possible. We had access to liquid glass back in June on the developer conference as soon as it was announced.
Awesome.
On the same day, we were building against iOS 26 beta, which we've never been able to do. So
that's pretty exciting for you and the teams as well then, right?
Oh, yeah.
To be like, look,
the latest, we can play with the latest tools straight away, where there's nothing that we can't do now on it.
Yeah, it adds to the excitement again, seeing that those kind of things early on, but also giving us the comfort and assurance that, it's not going to trip us up.
No, big time. And what's like, cast your mind back to the early days of apps. Can you kind of like, have you seen like a commitment to Next on technology and innovation over the years, like from where the app, or even before we even had an app, like
massively.
Yeah. Can you see the evolution happen?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I go back to sort of 2016 when we didn't have an Android app then. So when I first joined, we had an iOS app. We had two iOS apps. We had one that was dedicated for an iPad, which I hold very fond to my heart with that one. So the original one was based on the Next directory, so the old directory we used to print.
Yeah.
We had all the pages with all the products on there, and you could skim through all the pages. The ask was to recreate that book on an iPad in landscape, so it would act like a book.
Yeah.
Beautiful app. It had page turning.
Phil doesn't seem to agree.
You weren't there.
I was in Doncaster.
Yeah, you weren't part of this. This was fun. We had all the page
I've heard about this though.
It had all the images. We had hotspots. You could favourite the items within the book, and it stuck. It was beautiful. So the iPad app was really good. It was really successful. So that went really well. Then they had an iPhone app that did. I mean, at that point it was UK only, so it was just GB. It was single language, single territory, single client. That was it, and that was designed for that. Then they wanted an Android app, so then they decided how are we going to make an Android app. They went down the cross-platform route. That we can write the code once and we can deploy it on one platform. 2016, it was a good choice. We've proven it was the right thing. So there's no point sitting there now going, it was definitely the wrong thing to do in 2016 because we now had to rewrite them. But that was 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
And also, think back then, I bet the tech team was half the size of what it is
the
now.
App team,
as well.
when I joined the app team, at one point the app team went down. I think we were maybe down to like 3 or 4 people at one point. No. So it was a small team, but it was small. It was a really tiny percentage of e-commerce business. The website was obviously massive. The mobile site was getting really, really popular. I think the desktop site was really popular back then. It was just as equally as big. So we had to build an Android app. So we built an Android app because we wanted to do a tablet Android app, the same as the iPad one with the book. So we wanted all the page turning stuff. So we wrote all the custom stuff to build that page turning functionality because it didn't come out of the box on Android either. You had to write that. It was really fun. I mean, it was really good, and it was actually really cool. The page turning thing was a real challenge, and it was a really, really nice bit of kit. We eventually got rid of it because the book was a nightmare because we had to print all those pictures.
Yes.
So there's a lot of imagery and all that sort of stuff. But it worked really nice. So we had the iPad app that went out just again UK, and then you see from 2016 we've gone from single language, single territory, single client. We're now on to multiple languages. 50 plus territories now. We're on the exact
it's like 58, I think.
58 countries.
Just under 60,
so you can see that the old app we had to modify it. It started out, this is the remit, this is what you have to build. It's a single UK app, that's it. So we never designed it for multi-language, multi-clients, multi-territories. So we had to shoehorn that all in and remold that app as we went along. So by the time we get skip forward to 2023, that app's starting to creak a little bit because you've just decided all of a sudden you want to make it total platform. We've got Reese and Victoria's Secrets one onto it. You've got a lot of things you're trying to build on a platform that was never designed to take more than just GB. By the time we got there, it needed rewriting, but it wasn't that it was the wrong choice. It
was the right choice at that time.
It lived its lifespan and then it needed replacing. So it was great timing on all accounts. The framework died from the vendor point of view, but at the same time, we'd exceeded it anyway.
Yeah, it was the right time for you
it needed
as well.
to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Proof that it needed to be done now. The results are massive, you know. But it was a different playing field back then. You know,
Yeah,
it was a
100%.
completely different playing field.
I mean, I think that's it. I think that's, you know, in terms of like what you guys have achieved and what the teams have achieved, because I'm getting that as well. I think the teams have played, from what you've said, teams have made a massive part in this, you know, like new challenge, learning things, obviously multiple projects going on at the same time. Massive testament to like pull this off in such a time frame. I think it kind of really highlights that like let's take it on mentality of
Absolutely.
like don't you agree,
Yeah.
like of just being able
The
to go for
guys,
it.
yeah, I mean, doing guys and girls that are on the team yeah, I mean, it is amazing. It was a big, I mean, it's a big ask, you know, wasn't it? When we went and we were like, we're going to rewrite these things in a framework and a language that these guys don't know. So we're going to deliver you an app in this period of time. These guys have no idea how to write it.
They've got to learn it all.
They've got to learn it from scratch. They know the foundations from what they've done, but they've got to relearn brand new languages, brand new frameworks, and deliver you a product that's 100% crash free. You know, that's a tall remit, and they smashed it.
They have smashed it, yeah. I mean, how do you create an environment where the guys can work as, you know, as effectively as possible? So exciting new tech, and I think that was part of it. How do we empower the guys for them to deliver this for us? You know, they've got the skill set to do it. That's the thing. So at least part of my role was just making sure that the environment they were working in allowed them to do it. You know, you know what the targets are here. You've got the skill set. You've got the intent. So go do it. You know.
Yeah.
And I think it was so impressive because they got on with it, and I think just from packaging the new project up into milestones in releasable, we had to look at our app, and we had to kind of take it apart and say, right, where do we start? You know, how do you start rewriting this thing?
Yeah.
You know, what are the key things? You know, what's the customer journey? What are the core fundamentals? What is the framework? So certainly part of my role was the guys know this stuff. You know, they're very good. We just have to create that environment for them to go and execute.
Yeah.
And
execute they did.
Yeah,
They
And
did.
execute they did. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, it was a tall order. It really was a tall order to get them to do it. But they really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm getting from you. It does sound like as well.
It's
it was
a great
fun.
vibe. The apps team
fun.
always has been. To be fair, I've always enjoyed the apps team. That's why I've always been on it. You know, it's a morbid sort of thing with it. It's just a fun team, and everybody's there for each other. They are such a great team. But yeah, the skill set but what I've really enjoyed is seeing the people shine out of this as well. So you've got people that were sort of, they're in the older framework, you can get a little bit buried in it, and you can become a little bit sort of monotonous day in, day out. We've given them these new platforms, and there's not one that hasn't sort of rose up and just shone with it. And there's lots of developers that, even at the developer level, that are now shining out going, these are proper senior lead developers that we're bringing through here. This is all homegrown talent that, you know, is within our team. They've been in the team a long time, and they are turning into some seriously good developers. And they've really embraced it, and it's just great. You know, it's really nice to see it, to be honest. And yeah, it's brilliant.
They're telling us as well, you know, this was the right decision. You know, we're happy. We're happy with this. You know, it was definitely the right thing to do. Day to day, their coding life is better. So you know.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, they're all pretty happy, aren't they, with where we are now from where we were. By the end of the framework, it was becoming quite difficult to work with, and it was a hard grind to keep it going. But they did. So I mean, it shows all testament to them. The guys that were sitting there waiting for the Android one to start, they were there trying to keep the lights on, and that thing was not easy to work with. And they kept grafting away, and they kept it going. They kept delivering features in time as well, and it was hard work. But they did, because they knew where we were going. So, yeah, it's not just the new stuff. There's some guys that really fought quite hard to keep it going. And I think somebody said the other day about it was like tearing down a shop or trying to build the shop next door. So you're trying to rebuild your store, and tear the old one down
at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
But and keep this one going, and some are working on one bit, and you're building it in a completely different way, completely different architecture. It's very, very difficult.
It's quite a tough message to deliver. As we all know, Next, moves really quickly. Delivers fast, and so what part of our battle earlier on was very much, look, we're going to work on stability of this platform because we need to rewrite the whole thing. So our product that's out there, we're going to invest time in it, but we're going to make it stable and and just as robust as possible, I suppose, while we kind of take some level of resource away from it and invest in our new products on a new platform. And again, that was another little challenge that we had to kind of get our stakeholders on board with that message of we can't do all this in we can't deliver brand new functionality, I suppose, and cutting edge features on this platform whilst we're rewriting this. We have to have a little bit of a mindset change to make sure that our current production app is stable and it doesn't crash, because we don't want to pass our deadline, and have if we're not ready, heaven forbid, if we're not ready, we have an app that's having its own problems out there, and we haven't got anything else to replace it with, because we can't make a release to that particular product at the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing all the updates come in and what you guys do with it. Thank you for coming on. I mean, that is I love stuff like this. I love getting into the nitty gritty of what teams are doing. So I really appreciate you sharing that. So thanks for coming on the Life at Next podcast, both.
No worries. Pleasure.